Hey guys, this is Metroff. Welcome to Fortnite. Uh, this is Marat's item tester. This is the map I've been working on in the game. It's basically a free-for-all sort of PvP, PvE style map. You got all these areas you can go to, you got all these enemies you can fight, and basically the whole thing about this map is that there's pretty much all the items and weapons in the game in this plane. And down here at the end, there's only chapters 1 through 5 in this area, but in this, instead of extending the plane out even longer, so it would kind of look ridiculous because it's kind of a scaled plane right now, but we got chapter 6 and chapter 7 right here. So if you want any of these, pretty much any option available in Battle Royale history is in this map somewhere. So here we go. And basically you can do is you can talk to this guy High Rise. So essentially the story of this map is kind of based off of Dark Redemption, which is the book that I wrote. You can find it on Amazon. I'll link it in the description, but it's following the story off of that, and I'll try not to spoil too much of it, but it takes place on the island of Rostexia, which is where we are. It's the desert island that Marat owns, hence the name Marat's Item Tester. And throughout this story, you can essentially just farm your way up to getting the ultimate goal, which is ultimate power. And essentially, ultimate power is you can times your damage by 2, and it basically lets you teleport into this little chapel area. It's a signal remote that lets you do this, and you can teleport in there and get the ultimate power, but you got to do the story first, and for the story, got to go around all these parts of the map. And yeah, so over here, fight zombies. There's a bit of a PvE element of the map. Some like epic gaming boss right here. And yeah, after you do that, you'll get more quests, and then around the entire map, it's split into 3 different towns. The big one in the center is Rostexia, and it's basically these colonial-style buildings. The layout's the same in all of them, but they look like this. And then these bigger ones in sort of the center, which is like the primo deluxe houses. They got like even a bathroom in it, but yeah, there's some unique structures around, like there's me right here. Kind of a cameo. I love the Monarch pistol, so I gave him that. I'm going to try not to show everything off, but yeah, there's these guards walking around town. Each town has a distinct guard. These are the Red Knights here. And then this is a pretty unique house. This is Ego's house, another character from the Dark Redemption universe. Oh, what's happened there? That's bizarre. But yeah, here he is with his blinged out golden gun up here. This is Marat's castle, which is kind of like the centerpiece of this all. It's a magnificent building. You can get cars from in here. There's my car, DeLorean. And then there's SUVs on this side. So it's both the ones that can have the cosmetic skins you can get cars for. And then you enter this door. It's kind of a grand structure. You got Lynx and Marat, who are 2 key players of the Dark Redemption storyline. And on each opposing side, there's elevators. This one leads to the roof, and they actually do work. You can press the buttons and go up with them. So let me do that now. Yeah, it took a while of tinkering with a buddy of mine to figure this out, but yeah. Nothing too special up here, but this council area, which this is important in the book. You got the 4 roles of the elemental society. And then you got Catalyst here, who you talk to later in the story. Now I'll show some of the more key areas of the map. Just north of town, there's this farm. This is how the elementals get their food and wind production, because I wanted to be like lore accurate. Like, how would these people survive on this island? How would they get what they need to live? And then it's tended by young Marat, which is the skin I currently am. This is one of my favorite skins in the game. I think it looks pretty neat. And then just east, to the northeast of the farm, is Cranes, which is sort of like an Asian-style place. It's sort of the Chapter 6 style buildings. All these are the same, but a key player in... It's an original character to this map. The exotics are here, too. Yeah, the exotics. All the exotics. They're stored here just as like a reason to come here, pretty much. And then the Peacekeeper is another awesome character. But up here you got Mr. Iris. He's a Earth sprite. Yeah, he'll give you the signal remote when you complete the story, but I'll save that for you guys to do. And yeah, if you want to play this map, the map code is up at the top, so you can check it out. To the northwest of town is another town called Redelia, and it's kind of like this Chapter 3 sanctuary style for like a Southern Africa look here. And the main dude here is Archon. He's like this dark elemental being. He sits on this throne and rules over this town, but yeah, and then here's Ray and Phantom, who are both crucial characters in my book. Headhunter right here. I will show you guys a little bit of a secret of Redelia. You can come up here and then mantle through this window, and there's a little hidey hole in here. You can kind of hide from people in here. Also, a cool trivia fact about this map is that if you look at the first video I made 6 years ago, this is the map that that takes place in. And it's transformed massively since then. Like, pretty much nothing from the original version is there, except for that giant cactus which used to cover up the portal to the hub. But yeah, it's the same place, and I've been working on it for most of Fortnite's history. And you crest this sand dune, and you got the White Rock Cult's base. They're kind of like a bad guy group in the book. You can turn off their turrets here, and you can fight them. I have a lot of ping right now. I'm probably going to die. I'm going to retreat. Tactical move. Oh, I'm dead. But yeah, that's about it of everything I've done. There's a couple secrets around I don't want to spoil. You guys can find, but here's the layout again and the map code at the top of the screen. So yeah. So next up, I'm going to show you guys Leia's item tester. Now, this is my Star Wars item tester. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I have a collection tour video on my channel. I got a bunch of stuff, but yeah, this is my Star Wars one. You got all the blasters over here. You got all the force powers except for throw, push, and pull, because they both destroy ceiling and roof tiles and also the props. So I got rid of them. Same with the shockwave. That's why the shockwave hammer's not in Marat's, is because it breaks stuff. But yeah, I'll just grab a couple things first, and then I'll show you the rest of... Okay. So, out through here, you got... This whole area is sort of a secret rebel base on... We're on an orbital station orbiting the planet of Dantooine, and we're kind of hid out in this droid shop. This is like sort of the rebel portion with Leia here. I'm gonna add a story later on, but not yet. I'm kind of burnt out of working on this map, but I wanted to get it out for the Star Wars template, but here she is. You'll eventually be able to talk to her and start the quest. Here's the droid shop portion. You can buy R5s and R2s, but not really. It's just for lore stuff. Out through here into the main atrium of the station. You got civilians walking around with blasters out. You got look off into space. Some barriers there to look like space. It splits off 4 ways, so I'll show you this way first. There's the Pleasures of Tatooine Cantina, which is kind of like the resting place in this orbital station. You got the stages right here. You got like sort of gambling pits. You got the bar here, and then these little offshoot areas where some people are resting. There's an IG unit here. But over on this side, we got some familiar faces cooped up in the cantina. Yeah. Then coming out of the cantina over towards the downward spots of the orbital station, we got the hangars. Now this is an Imperial hangar over here. It's guarded by a Death Trooper. There's a very important person in here. Yeah, this is his personal hangar. He's got some vehicles and the shuttle he came in. He's kind of lobotomized, so he doesn't really like do anything unless you get too close. Having a lightsaber duel, you're pretty much going to lose instantly. You kind of have to use the blasters in order to do it. But got gonk droids here. Moving on to Hangar 2B. This is how you go down to the surface of the planet. There's this X-Wing here. You can go to Dantooine. I'll show you that in a bit, but there's one last thing. Up to the north of the orbital station, we have the Imperial Embassy. If you come in here, they'll shoot you on sight because you're trespassing. You gotta take care of them. You can go 2 different ways. There's that way and that way. I'll go this way because they're pretty much the same. You gotta fight your way through them. In order to get to the Imperial officer. Now she's guarded by Death Troopers. This makes sense. High-ranking officials often are. Now here she is. Now they don't have an Imperial officer skin, so I just use one of the gray civilians in order to simulate that. But yeah, you'll be able to talk to her in the story content, but it's not added yet. Now back to the X-Wing here. If you press this button, you get in the X-Wing and you fly to Dantooine. Now, there's some trees around, mountainous terrain. I tried to go for how it looked in KOTOR, but I kind of failed at that. It's kind of my own unique interpretation. But yeah, here you got the Rebel base. There's these radar dishes, and then I went for like a Hoth shield generator type of design for the base. This 4-ringed structure that you can't enter, but it looks cool. You got turrets here. You got some Rebel troopers here. If you get in an X-Wing, fly over here. And this is the Vital homestead. And the Vitals are one of the feuding families in KOTOR's Dantooine. So I drew inspiration from that. It's kind of got a sort of Raydelia style, because the buildings on Dantooine kind of look like this. Not exactly, but a little bit. So I kind of took inspiration from that. They're growing crops here, and then the whole place is ruled by this guy, this Mandalorian dude. He doesn't have a name yet, but he will when the story content comes. He's got guards here. He's got a bunch of beds for some reason. He's kind of pimped out, but we can get back in and we'll fly over to the Imperial base. Now, it's shrouded by the trees, so it's like simulating the essence of like, oh, the rebels and the Imperials don't know they're next to each other, even though they obviously would, but just pretend like they don't, okay? You got TIE fighters. It's a heavily under-guarded base. And that's intentional, because I wanted to show that they don't have much of a presence here, despite the flowing base they have built. One of those troop transports here. These TIEs are all flyable. You can fly them. So then up here is their main armament, which is a turbo laser. You can blast things with it. Get back to the ship! Make our great escape. And over to the final POI of this place, which is Luke's Jedi training shrine. Kind of like a... I'm going to keep talking as these guys keep shooting me, but it's a little secluded area in the forest. It's kind of got like a force connection. He's aura farming right here. Yeah. Yeah, the story, when I add it, it's going to take place after A New Hope. And it's going to be kind of a transitional period between that and Empire Strikes Back. Can this guy shut up? There. Dealt with him. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. That was a fail. I'm going to fly out of here. But yeah, that's about it so far. There will be more eventually. This is in a very early stage. As you can see up there, it's version 1, whereas Marat's was version 35, so I've been working on this a lot less. But there will be updates coming in the future, and if you want to play it, the code's up top. Yeah, that's about it.